Let's talk about the 3 greatest dangers that we face on this planet today and what we can do about it. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work together with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. Now, there are 3 main areas where we are being conditioned right now by these controllers so they can set us up subconsciously to go along with their future plans. And if you're not paying attention, you might not notice the mass mind control that is currently going on. So, while they have us fighting with each other and in open conflict with various tribes that they created, of course, there is some serious mass mind control happening right under our noses. I want to show you what that is so you are not being subconsciously programmed without your awareness. Now, before I begin, I want to remind you that just 1 week from today, which will be August 1st, I will be opening up my Cosmic Journey membership for new members. But the doors will only be open for 2 days on August 1st and 2nd. Now, I have some of my absolute best content in this membership that I do not offer anywhere else. And the purpose of the membership is to provide you with a supportive space where you can focus on your evolution and your ascension journey without being distracted by all the stuff going on in the world. Now, a central piece in this membership is what I call the 5 stages of the ascension path. This is a proprietary system that allows you to see exactly where you are on your ascension journey and what you need to focus on next. Now, once you engage with this, you will no longer find yourself in a position of feeling lost and not knowing what to do. Plus, we also have a live Q&A every month. Now, I have a wait list that I will link below. So if you want to be reminded of these dates, August 1st and 2nd, you can get on the wait list. It's only a week away. So just click that link, get on the wait list, and then I will send you a reminder along with some extra information. Now, let's get back to the topic of today's video. Let's start with the first danger that we need to be aware of, which is becoming increasingly bizarre. This has to do with that weather issue. You know, I call it the Big C emergency. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you some images that will probably shock you when you see them in context. But first, let's take a look at this recent headline. What the heck is a heat storm? Well, I know what it is. It's called summer. Triple-digit dangers. People in Arizona have been living under triple digits forever. They're used to it. But this article makes it sound like this is rare and unprecedented. Their 3 favorite places to talk about in this regard are Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Death Valley. Like 3 of the hottest places in the world that people actually live in. Now, in this article, they talk about a guy in Phoenix who cleans people's swimming pools, because everybody in Phoenix has a pool because it's hot. And they say, this guy has to get up early because it's too hot. The poor guy. Probably been living in Phoenix his whole life, I'll bet. Then they use language like, he has to put on protective clothing before he goes out to face the inferno. Yeah, that's the word they use, inferno. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The protective clothing is probably a hat, maybe some sunglasses. And the inferno is just a normal hot summer day in Phoenix. And take a look at this image again. I think this image is designed to turn us against the sun. I mean, so much drama. This guy looks like he thinks he's dying or something. Because, these controllers, they hate the sun because the sun gives life. And they can't have that on planet Earth. See, living creatures are just way too difficult for these controllers to deal with. Okay, now this is mild compared to what I'm going to show you next. But just note the use of words like heat storm, danger, and inferno when talking about summer. Now, do you remember when weather maps were normal colors, like green and brown for the continents and blue for the oceans? That was when we were allowed to remember that we live on a planet that grows lots of green forests with an ocean of beautiful blue water. Planet Earth, right? Well, the infamous Weather Channel is having none of that. No siree. They want to introduce us to planet Hell. The one that has the inferno that they want us to believe in. Take a look at this image where the U.S. has turned red and the ocean is suddenly brown. Kind of like if the big bad sun had evaporated all of the ocean water and the land looks like a red hot stove. And look at this next one. I mean, what is up with the black and red theme? Aren't those colors sort of satanic? And check out the fiery molten lava theme in the background. Even this lady is color coordinated in her planet Hell theme with her black shirt and bright red lipstick. So this is a screenshot of a video. And in this video, they claim that their hurricane outlook has gotten worse because El Nino doesn't matter anymore. How interesting is that? They say it doesn't matter because things are so bad on planet Earth. I mean planet Hell. Now here's one more image for your viewing pleasure. Well, looky here. Now the ocean is black and gray like ash. And check out these orange and red streaks that look like flames that are leaving ashes in their wake where the ocean used to be. And then I love these little white puffs that look like smoldering embers. Now look at all three of these images together. Do you see a pattern here? This is subliminal mind control at its finest. See, if you're watching this stuff, your conscious mind is focused on the people and what they're saying, along with the moving graphics. But your subconscious mind is recording all of these images that look like the earth is a smoldering, burning, fiery apocalypse. This way, when the controllers say, "Hey, peasants," I mean people, we have to block out the sun and lock you all up because you are causing the planet to burn alive with your carbon-based breathing. Then the subconscious mind will say, "Oh yeah, I remember those fiery red and black pictures. This makes sense. And yeah, that black and gray stuff did sort of remind me of carbon. Sounds like a good idea. Oh, and check out how the oceans are changing colors. We can start with this one, where the once blue ocean suddenly starts looking yellow-orange. Well, sure, because it's starting to heat up. And next, we see the ocean beginning to boil and turn into a hot cauldron of some kind of goo, I guess. This is just ridiculous looking. Now, of course, these fear-mongering weather poodles have an excellent excuse for their hellish, flaming color palette. They'll tell us they're just trying to be helpful and show us some simple temperature changes in the ocean or something. I mean, who knows? They'll say, hey, this is okay because these colors stand for something. Well, of course they do. They stand for the lie that they want us to believe that planet Earth is a burning cauldron of fire. And they will soon be informing us that this fiery hellscape is our fault because we have this very bad habit of wanting to live and breathe and eat food and go places. And worst of all, we are made of carbon, and carbon is bad. In fact, carbon-based life is bad, which means that all of nature is bad. Which brings me to our second danger, which is AI. Now, AI is going to start writing the news. Google is testing a new AI that they call Genesis. How's that for a name for AI? Genesis. It can take in details of current events and write news articles. So Google is starting by pitching this to the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal. You know, it's the same rationale that they started with ChatGPT. Oh, ChatGPT can do everything for you. You'll never have to work again. So now, I guess they're going to pitch this idea to the journalists so the journalists will not have to do news anymore because AI will be doing the news. How comforting is that? And I'll tell you what I think is coming after that. All they have to do next is to scan the bodies of TV journalists and create a clone of those same journalists' voices. And the next thing you know, all of the news and opinions that we used to see coming from actual humans will at some point only be coming from fake AI humans pretending to be real. Now, here's why this could be a huge concern for all of us. Imagine if a lot of the input that people are getting online, hearing from the so-called voices in authority, imagine if that input is coming from AI presenting itself as real humans. And yeah, it's going to get to a point where you literally can't tell if that's a person or an AI. You can tell now, and this is one of the reasons I bring this up with you all, so that you will develop the ability to see what is real and what isn't. But at some point, it's probably going to become so realistic, so perfected, and it's going to happen fast, that certainly the average person won't be able to tell, and maybe they can't even tell now. But here's what's going to happen. People will think they're hearing from a human being, but that voice in that image will not carry a human vibration. It's going to carry the vibration of AI. But because the people will believe it's a human being, they're going to connect with that energy as though it is a human being. They're going to receive those messages as though they are coming from a human being. What do you think this is going to do to people's energy? It is going to completely change their vibration, change their frequency, more perfectly align their vibration with AI, and they won't even know it. But those of us who are conscious are going to know it, because here's what we're going to see. And I think we're already seeing some of this already ever since the good old ChatGPT was unleashed upon the planet. You might start noticing that people aren't really connecting with each other in ways they did before. You might start noticing that people more seem like they're just passing each other by, but without actually connecting. When you start seeing that happen more and more, it's probably because they are unwittingly connecting their consciousness with AIs that they believe are actually human beings. So this is a very insidious way that this AI phenomenon, if you want to call it that, it's actually an alien force, is going to continue to use to absorb humans. And this AI cloning of humans is one of the things that actors in Hollywood are now very upset about. They don't want to be AI cloned for one day and then discarded as unnecessary human artists. Because once ChatGPT entered the scene, you guys, it's like a disease that is spreading. It's infiltrating everything. See, everything I'm describing is the Pandora's box that was opened up when ChatGPT was unleashed, and everyone thoughtlessly went bonkers over it. And here's a little bit of amusement for all of us. In the paper today, it said that, this AI threat, we don't have to worry because the US government has made an agreement with seven of the tech companies that are manufacturing the main AIs. And check this out. These companies agreed to voluntarily make sure that what they're doing is safe. And then they shook hands and said, awesome, we're done. And now we have nothing to fear because the government and the AI creators have agreed voluntarily, without even having to tell anybody, that they're going to make sure it's all very safe. Which is really quite hilarious because it's too late for that. See, they already let it out. They already unleashed it on the world. It's kind of a little late to be talking like, oh, we're going to make sure that it's safe. You already blew that one. So anyway, kind of funny, right? Oh, and speaking of ChatGPT, did you know that the head of the company who owns and created ChatGPT, the company named OpenAI, the head of that company is Sam Altman. Did you know that he is also the co-founder of a company called WorldCoin? This is a company that says they are going to force an AI system of controlled currency on all of us, whether we like it or not. Isn't that charming? And then there's a company called Conception that wants to change the way that humans reproduce, which is probably a good idea given how many humans are chopping off body parts. See, these guys plan to create lab-grown human eggs. And there's some people who say, I don't remember where I saw this, but somewhere I saw that someone was saying that by 2030, human reproduction or pregnancy in a human womb will be made illegal. Now, I don't know if that's really going to happen, but I have been actually predicting that would happen at some point. I've been predicting that for years. I'm not psychic. It's just so obvious when you look at the trajectory of where everything's going. So eventually, natural human reproduction will be considered illegal. Now, if you really can think about what I've been saying about AI here in this video and all the things I've been telling you all along about it, and I know sometimes there are people who say to me, well, Saratoga, why do you talk about this stuff? We don't need to know about this stuff. Let me explain to you why I have really tried to help you all stay in front of the development of AI. Because as you can see, where it's going now, it's going to become a vibrational issue. It's going to become an issue of frequency. So we need to become really, really clear and familiar with our natural human frequency ourselves, and also become very good at detecting that in others, so that we can exercise discernment, so that we know what we're dealing with when it comes to other people, other images, other voices. And even more importantly, we know what we're dealing with within ourselves. This is the reason that I've been advocating for so long to do that inner work, to continue to evolve, to not be passive, to understand that we need to ascend. Ascension being another word for evolution. Because we need to become so strong and empowered within ourselves that we are crystal clear what a natural human being is, starting with us, starting with each one of us as individuals, so that we do not lose our way in the midst of all this AI insanity. Because it will become very, very easy, and I think it already has become very easy, to lose your way when it comes to AI. Because AI is really trying to take over our entire physical reality and then take us into a completely different dimension. A dimension that we don't want to go there because you know what? It's going to be terrible. It's going to be boring. So no, we want to make sure that we are firmly situated in our natural state of being a natural human being with natural energies, natural frequencies, human energy, and human frequencies. We want to be stand firm in that and be wholly empowered in that energy. Because that way, nothing can affect us. Okay, so now finally we have our third danger and the controller's final card to play, which is the so-called alien threat. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the media and the government seem to be ramping up on this issue more and more and more. I mean, now they openly admit that ETs are real and that the government and the military have acquired down spacecraft of non-human origin from outer space. In fact, I think the military is now claiming that UFOs are interfering with their training exercises. So it's so funny in a way because for so many years people have begged for disclosure. Please, will you just admit that aliens are real, that UFOs are real? So now they are admitting it, but the weird thing is it's kind of like nobody notices. Nobody's really excited about it at all. And I think it's because of the way that they're bringing it out. They're very slimy the way these controllers do things, right? They're sort of doing it from the side. They're injecting a little bit here, a little bit over there. Oh yeah, there's this UFO thing. Oh, and by the way, aliens are real. And they just kind of do it on the sidelines so we don't notice it too much. I think there's a reason it's happening that way. I think it's happening that way so that we will kind of take it in as like background noise, like almost like we'll think it's normal because they're acting like it's normal. They're not making a big to-do about it, making it a major headline. I think they're very specifically introducing it into the human sphere of consciousness on a conscious level in a way that's like, oh yeah, this is completely normal every day. Yeah, there's ETs. Yeah, there's spaceships. Big deal. So that we will absorb it. We will take it in. We will not feel defensive. We will not feel afraid at this point. They just want us to know that, oh yes, this stuff is real. We admit it. But that's just phase one. That's just the first part of this possible plan. See, basically, if they decide to unleash their comic book version of an alien attack, this way it will seem believable to people because we will have already had it introduced into our consciousness in a way that feels kind of normal. Now, I want to explain to you how these three dangers come together in kind of like a pyramid. So at the top of the pyramid, you have AI, where these other 2 points converge. The goal is for the top of the pyramid to manifest as a total AI takeover of Earth. Now, these other 2 points, which are the scary weather issue and the alien issue, are 2 possible ways to get to that end result. And it's also possible that they could merge these 2 points together into a giant palooza of fear. And here's what that could look like. They could say that we are bad carbon breathers who are causing the scary weather that's destroying the earth in flames. And the aliens are watching this, and they have threatened the government that if they don't lock us all up, then the aliens will be forced to blow up the earth, or some stupid story like that. Now, I know you might say, oh, come on, Saratoga, that is just too stupid to be real. And of course you would be right, except for one thing. Is it too stupid to be real to be told that men are really women and that no one actually knows what a woman is, and that doctors have no idea what a human is at birth? They just guess if it's a boy or a girl, and they're usually wrong. Is it too stupid to be real to be told that it's a good idea to chop off body parts when the doctor supposedly gets it wrong? I mean, you know how that story goes, right? There's only so much I can say about that here. The absolute circus of insanity that we have been subjected to on this planet for the past 3.5 years proves that no amount of craziness is off limits for these controllers. No one would even make a movie or write a fictional book with this storyline, because it's just that stupid. Yet we have actually been living it for over 3 years now. So here's what we can do now. We really have to look out for ourselves. I don't think we can necessarily count on the masses to wake up to the degree that is necessary. I mean, if by some miracle they do, then that would be great. But here's the issue, you guys. People on this planet have a very bad habit of waking up after the fact when it's too late. I mean, yes, I am so happy that so many people are waking up to what has already happened. But honestly, I don't know if I would trust them exactly to wake up in advance of what is yet to come. And that's the problem, isn't it? Everyone's still so busy waking up about the past 3 years, and yet these are the same people who are jumping headfirst into AI because, ChatGPT is so cool. So here's what we need to do for ourselves. We need to collect ourselves. First, we need to recognize that everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Now, right now, the dominant energy on this planet is that of the controllers and their agenda. And here's what you need to recognize. If we don't seriously tend to our own energy on a daily basis, then we will come into resonance with that dominant energy, even if we don't agree with it and even if we don't want it. That's just a law of physics. And here's the other thing, because I know a lot of people will say, hey, we don't want to hear about all this junk, and there's far worse things going on than what I could ever talk about here. But we can say to ourselves, I don't want to know about any of this. I just want to be in my world of bliss and happiness. And that's all I want. So just stop talking about all of this stuff. But here's what you need to know. Whether or not you are conscious of everything going on here, it's still going on. And it is creating an energy. It is creating a frequency of energy surrounding this planet, within the planet, around it, on it, everywhere. It's creating a dominant frequency of energy, whether you're aware of it consciously or not. So the reason to be aware is so that we can differentiate, so that we can pay attention to how we feel, to how our energy is doing, and not just assume that every time things feel weird, there's something wrong with us. Because it could actually be just as simple, like let's say, for example, you're feeling things like anxiety or hopelessness or confusion or depression or frustration or exhaustion, or that kind of stuff you don't really enjoy feeling. Let's say you're feeling all of that, just a variety of things of that nature. And you're just completely unaware of what's going on in the world. What are you going to think? You're going to think, oh, there must be something wrong with me. What is going on with me that I'm feeling this stuff? It's very important to consider the very real possibility that it has nothing to do with you personally. That there is a powerful possibility that in your lack of awareness, perhaps, your energy is coming into resonance with all that bad stuff going on. See, this is why I always say to you guys, don't be passive, don't wait around, don't wait to be saved, because while you're waiting to be saved, all this stuff is going on and it's affecting you, it's influencing you. So you could be feeling weird stuff and think, oh my God, I have to fix myself, I have to do something about it, or whatever. And then, well, here's something that I really don't agree with. I know it's kind of a popular way to look at such things, but some people say, hey, all those negative emotions and all that stuff, that's just part of ascension. It's part of your ascension process. Okay, well, I'll say something that is controversial in the New Age world. But I think it's common sense what I'm about to say. Ascension is a process of high vibrational energy, light, positive energy, something that we're working towards. That's what's called transmutation of energy. That's what's called alchemy. We need to be alchemists of our own energy. We need to, within our sphere, within our sovereignty, be so empowered in our truth, in our light, that we create a resonant field of energy that if that bad stuff, those other frequencies come at us, it's transmuted and we don't get affected. That's what we're aiming for. And you don't get there by saying, oh, I don't feel good. It's weird stuff happening and I don't know what's going on. You don't get there with that kind of a position. We're all capable of what I'm talking about. But it really has to do with how you are positioned in your consciousness. Now, I also don't want to imply that if you have negative or troubled emotions that, oh, it's not you, it's all this other stuff. Because sometimes it is you. Sometimes it is you needing to do some inner work. But we need to be able to differentiate what is really ours and what is not. Because when the dominant energy is the controller's agenda and all this stuff they're doing, and AI, which is becoming increasingly dominant, and that's why I talk about it, because I want you guys to stay sovereign. Not only on planet Earth, but in the universe, because what is happening with AI is an extraterrestrial event. It truly is. So we need to comprehend that we are sovereign cosmic beings on a particular planet called Earth, in the middle of a certain situation, but we need to expand our consciousness to understand that this situation is not just an Earth-based situation. This is a cosmic situation. This is bigger than Earth. It is indeed an extraterrestrial situation that we find ourselves in. And you know what? That's completely normal. Because I don't care what planet you're on, you are in an extraterrestrial situation, because that's just the nature of the universe. You see, everything is interconnected. Planets, stars, galaxies, dimensions. It's all interconnected as one ginormous space that we as infinite beings are standing in the middle of right now on this planet. But just because we're on planet Earth in no way changes the larger context of our existence. Here's what happens when you position yourself in that larger context. Oh my goodness, you open up tremendous levels of intelligence, insight, and awareness and knowledge that are not possible for you when you believe that you are just this little Earth-based creature. See what I mean? Because if you identify yourself as just this little Earth-based person who has this lifetime and you're struggling through this life in this terrible situation, if you identify yourself as that, you have taken on an identity. You have projected upon yourself, with the help of the people around you, no doubt, an identity that is closed, limited, and tiny. And if you believe that's you, you will not have the ability to know very much at all. Because you will only be able to know what a tiny little identity such as that is capable of knowing. See? This is why you don't want to be listening to all these people projecting stuff on you. This is why you want to be using your cosmic common sense and placing yourself in a larger context. That's your prerogative. That is your right. In fact, that is the truth of your situation. So it's not about saying, I'm a starseed or I come from somewhere else. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be right here, right now on Earth. Starseed or not. You don't have to call yourself that, and you can if you like. It doesn't really matter. Because we're all here in a star system, which is called a solar system here on Earth, inside of a galaxy, in space. You know, I've always laughed at this desperate need that humans have to get on these rocket ships and get out in space. I always kind of find that funny, and here's why. Because I don't get it. I really don't, because we're already in space. We're in deep space. We're there. We don't need a spaceship. We're there. And the cool thing about planet Earth, if you put the controller's junk aside and you just look at the natural planet, I mean, what could be better than a planet like this where there's beauty everywhere. All your needs are supplied. There's food, there's flowers, there's gorgeousness, there's fresh air, there's water, you can just walk around. You don't need equipment to keep you alive. I mean, that's pretty great. And you are in space without a spaceship. So that's how I look at it. I don't have some need to go out into space. I mean, honestly, you guys, the contraptions that they use around here to go into space, I mean, who would want to get on one of those things? Those are weird. I mean, it's like a tin can with fire coming out of one end. I mean, do you really want to get on one of those things? I sure wouldn't. I'm not impressed by any of it. And yeah, I've talked before about, the technology, the UFO technology, the ET technology, the spaceships that can go interdimensionally and cross time and space and all that stuff. Okay, fine. That's just, like I said before, vehicles. They're vehicles, you guys. They're vehicles. But we don't need to be in such a hurry to go somewhere else. What we need to do is to be focused on where we are right now, the planet we're on right now, and what we need to do right now, because this is where we are in our evolutionary journey, right here. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes some sense about staying centered, staying focused on your evolution. Yes, do the inner work. Do the transmutational work related to patterns and traumas and whatever else is there in your energy field that you want to transform, because all that stuff is in the way of your light. So it's important to do the inner work. It's important to engage in transformation and transmutation, because the more that you do, that's what alchemy is. That means you're transmuting energy into something on a physical level that can carry your light. You are a being of light. The whole idea is for this vehicle of your physical body to be able to function as a conductor of your radiant light. And that's the reason for doing the inner work. So I think if you can really understand the context of we really are in the universe, not just as a mental construct of belief, but as an actual physical reality. The more that you understand that, the more that you will be able to actually feel good in this crazy situation we're in. So I hope that helps. I hope at least it gives you some things to think about and consider in ways that you can actually improve your situation in the midst of all this craziness. And remember that 1 week from today, Tuesday, August 1st and Wednesday, August 2nd, I will be reopening the doors to my Cosmic Journey membership. If you want to be notified about that and get information about that, just click the link on the waitlist below and I will be happy to invite you in and show you around, and then you can make your own decision about whether or not you think this would be right for you. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you think would want to be aware of those 3 dangers that I talked about and what to do about it. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I'm here on Tuesdays with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.